Okay, we're live there. And let's see if I'm live on YouTube. Okay. What's up, TikTok? What is up, YouTube? If anyone's there. Welcome to the bi-weekly live stream. I think this is like the third or fourth one. What's up, people on TikTok? For the people that are on TikTok, if you want to see my screen of like what I'm talking about throughout the live stream, make sure to go to the YouTube channel because you'll actually see my screen. Hey, what's up, St. John Villaman? What's up, guys? Because yeah, I'm sharing my screen on YouTube, but then obviously cannot do that. You can only see my face on TikTok. And it's actually kind of funny because TikTok, when you go live, it automatically puts an enhancement filter on. So I think I fixed it this time and took everything off. But last time it looked like I had a beauty filter on. But they do that by default. And I was like, why do they... They give you no option when you first go live. It's just funny. What's up, Matt Money? You're my hero when we collabing. Maybe down to collab in the future. I guess hit me up with the details, and maybe we can work something out. If I like I haven't watched your channel or anything, but you actually popped up on like a recommended feed, so just hit me up. But yeah, today was a little bit of nothing in terms of the markets. I know last time we did this, I think we had like a crashing market, so a little bit more to talk about. But yeah, S&P 500 down 0.1%, the Dow down 0.29%, NASDAQ pretty much flat. Hey, what's up, Fernando? A lot of free tendies so far. Well, yeah, you won last week the trivia, no, Fernando? I think you were one of the winners. Yeah, no, you definitely were. I remember you. Oh yeah, and then for the trivia stuff, that will all be on YouTube. The winners will be on YouTube, and then anyone that wins, I'll basically write down the winner, and I'll just DM, or you can DM me on Discord, just proving that you have that username, and we'll figure it out from there. Let's see what's everyone talking about on TikTok. Doing good. I'm doing good. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Which cryptos do I own? So I just own like three main ones. It's Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Chainlink. It's actually I'm more heavily weighted towards Ethereum than I am towards Bitcoin or Chainlink. I think it's like 55, 40 Bitcoin, and then 5% Chainlink. Great bearish put spread vid. Thanks, man. Yeah, I know that's like really technical and not everyone wants to know about option strategies and whatnot, but I like to put those out where it's like more educational and less entertainment. Kind of mix it in. If you haven't noticed, I mix like humor, education, all that stuff. So what's up, Dylan? Let's talk AMC. I'm not involved with AMC at all, so I don't know what's going on with AMC, but I did notice that today there's an article about GameStop finally decided to sell some shares, which finally I kind of been waiting for that, selling up to 3.5 million shares and plans to utilize the proceeds to support its ongoing organizational transformation. Yeah, it took long enough, and honestly, it's a no-brainer for them. I mean, it's kind of shitty for the investors, just because, I mean, you're basically reducing the value of the shares. But with GameStop, it seems like people are willing to buy here at 184.50, which actually, let's open that new tab, which means GameStop is trading at a $12.9 billion valuation. Compared to, I mean, it was like $4 back in October. So them selling shares up here to raise some cash, strengthen the balance sheet, and pivot to actually kind of what they want to do in terms of like transforming their company, they actually may pull it off. You know, what's your morning routine? So I'm in Chicago, and the morning routine, I try to, there's basically two things. I try to work out and then eat breakfast and make sure I don't snooze the alarm too much. Those are basically my morning goals. Pay safe thoughts. Okay, let's see what's going on YouTube. Facebook finally reached all-time high again. About damn time. Yes, about damn time. Yeah, with Facebook, that's my biggest position in the Fidelity account. So obviously, them reaching an all-time high was great. And it was funny because, or not funny, but I'm sure you guys have or saw that Facebook leaked a bunch of old contact information from like 2019, I think. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh great, they're gonna crash the stock. But then, or not crash the stock, but I thought it was gonna be down. And then we hit all-time highs on Facebook. So just goes to show, all the information came out and they're like, oh yeah, that was past information, no big deal. And the market was like, yeah, who cares? Doesn't matter. So sold 5 contracts of April 30 puts. PLT always prints. 21 strike. Yeah, I like that play. For me, PLTR, anything in the low 20s and mid-teens to low 20s, like for me, I feel like that's a good play. I'm looking to sell Palantir puts basically in that range. The only problem I have with Palantir is the IV rank isn't that high compared to where it's been, but the implied volatility is still pretty high for Palantir. So yeah, I don't mind it. Okay, so while we got the beginning of the stream, let's actually kick it off with. Oh, did I show that? I think I probably did. Oh well, people probably missed it. But first question for the trivia. And so, like I said, this is on YouTube. If you answer it there, you can win. But basically, the first question is, what date does Coinbase, ticker symbol COIN, plan to IPO? So that's the question. And I'm actually going to talk about it later in the stream. They came out with the financials for Coinbase. And Saul, I see you put it here, but you got to answer it on the YouTube if you want the trivia, unfortunately. But they came out with the Q1 financials, and they absolutely smoked it. Hey, what's up, Finance at Home? What's going on? Yes, Fernando, you got it. April 14th. Hey, analyze this. What's up, my man? What is going on? And let me just type in the winner so I can recall it later. But actually, now that we're talking about it, Coinbase came out and released their Q1 earnings before the IPO, which is coming up. And just look at this graph in terms of, let me see if people can see it. Okay. So Q1 revenue for Coinbase comes in at $1.8 billion. $1.8 billion versus Q1 of 2020, $191 million. They basically 9x their revenue in 1 year. Obviously with the hype around Bitcoin coming into the end of the year, it makes sense. But they've had a huge influx, obviously, of assets under management, revenue, profits. I think their net income was around $700 and $900 million. So them really juicing this quarter. The valuation is probably, love to see you live, bro. Thanks, Analyze. The valuation is probably going to be pumped up even more than it was before. Because I think the original valuation that they were thinking that it was going to come out at was around like 100 billion. So we'll see if, this monster of a quarter juices it even higher, because, reading through the numbers, it looks like they really blew up in quarter one. And the real question, I guess, I'll probably have to do further analysis on this. But, is this sustainable in terms of, okay, you kind of get the hype around, Bitcoin and everything going on with the cryptocurrency space, everyone making money, and everyone's jumping into Coinbase and all these other platforms. So it's all about sustainability. I almost never invest in IPOs, but when I do, it's going to be freaking Coinbase. I want, honestly, Coinbase is a company I would want to own. And it's just disappointing that a lot of these, unicorn companies that have been coming out in terms of, IPOs, they just run up the price so much that it's really hard to justify throwing a ton of money at these IPOs. Even though that one day, they could grow into these valuations, it's just, they come out with a valuation and then a month later it's almost double. Coinbase's IPO is going to be massive. Yeah, what do you think they IPO at? Plus or minus 110 billion. It's Fernando, I feel like it's not going to crash on the first day trade or the first trading day, but we'll see. Looking to Voyager too, they're absolutely killing it at a much better valuation. Finance at Home, are they when is their IPO? I know nothing about, I've heard people talk about Voyager, but honestly I have never seen the app. I'm just assuming it's another exchange. I think it has, we're talking about Coinbase, and their killer quarter one and their valuation that may come out. Voyager is a crypto platform that's growing fast. It has an OTC stock, so it's already public. Okay. Yeah, so what was the big news? GameStop was big. The other thing I want to talk about, so we have stabilization with some of the yields that we're seeing, like the treasury yields have come down a little bit and have definitely calmed the market. And that's why, if you look at kind of the NASDAQ's performance versus SPY, QQQ, NASDAQ versus SPY, S&P 500. SPY, it's been chugging along all-time highs. And then, the NASDAQ, the past couple trading sessions has just exploded to the upside. Relatively faster than S&P 500, but that's because tech is rallying. You got bonds kind of coming under control, which, is good for growth. And then you see kind of like the TLT ETF, which is looking at the 20-year treasury yield. This is showing a little bit of strength. It's kind of consolidating here. So the real question is, will the yields continue to kind of come down? Or, what's up, stocks go down? Can I make you a moderator here? Oh, you're automatically a moderator. Cool. All right, see you, Analyze. Thanks, man. Can you spend a second on UVXY and give your thoughts? I know it's not a long-term play, but still. Sure, let's take a look. So I know that's that's a play on the VIX, right? The only problem I have with UVXY is its leverage. And the VIX, in my opinion, is already, it's already a very volatile product. So anything that's a derivative of the VIX is going to move fast. And so this thing, you need to be spot on for your short-term trades in order to profit. And honestly, if I look at the VIX, because it's basically just a leverage play on the VIX. Yes, while you look at the 1 month for VIX, we're trading at $18.12. But from if you kind of go out and look at the max view, this shows the VIX tracking all the way back until the 1990s. So, that spike that we saw last year when I think VIX hit up I think it was 80. I don't know why it's not showing on the chart. But anyway, the VIX being at the 18 is actually historically kind of, I mean, there's still room to the downside. So UVXY could keep on going down. The only danger with that is it's leverage, so you're gonna continue to get completely destroyed if you don't get those short-term movements for you. You think we're ever going back to a gold standard? This fiat standard is about to blow up? No, I think it's too late to go back to a gold standard. At this point, the government is too used to being able to control the currency as a whole, so I don't think it goes back to a gold standard. I don't think it loads up on they're not going to load up on Bitcoin. Bro, you need to stop calling out to work. I'm sick of covering your shift. I'm not sure if that's actually someone I know. Wasn't sure if it could touch $2 to $3 or not, but thank you, makes sense. What's your thoughts on ARK ETFs and Tesla? What has ARK been doing? ARK. I mean, I'm assuming ARK is kind of okay. Yeah. I mean, the past month, it's kind of not moved that much, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, it has high growth stocks, except today, the high growth stocks definitely did better. Oh, speaking of Tesla. So, I mean, the thing about ARK, it really depends on what Tesla's doing. I mean, it's 10% of the fund. I mean, if you just look at their top 10, depending on if those stocks are doing well, the ARK fund will be kind of dependent on that. But if you look at Tesla, I know they had good Q4 deliveries for their cars, and everyone was talking about that. It was 180-some thousand. Was that Monday? Or that was yesterday, right? Yeah, I mean, my opinion on Tesla really hasn't changed too much. I'm interested in the company. I just realized, I wish it would sell off, so maybe I could nibble. I think it's a good company to own 10 years down the line. It's just I think a lot of that growth is already priced in. What do I think of the digital yuan in China? I don't know much about it. Is that just a blockchain of their actual currency? I would assume yes. If that's the case, I mean, it's no different than kind of what they currently have, which isn't, I guess isn't digital. I don't know if it's just if it's actually using blockchain or not. So I don't know much about it. Let's see. I feel like the public will demand the gold standard when the US dollar crashes. Yeah, but if the US dollar crashes and everything is going to hell, how are they going to be able to buy gold if the value of dollars terrible? I don't know. I just don't believe in that doomsday scenario, really. I truly think Cathie Wood is on a sinking ship since she doubled down on Tesla 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I mean, you can't judge her by 1 month of underperformance. I mean, you got to give it years, and that's kind of the problem with the investing world. Everyone's so focused on the short term, but I mean, she still has really good returns over the past couple of years. Is it luck? Is it skill? I mean, you could argue either way, but you got to give it time. Do you know much about other crypto projects? I don't really know too much about, all these altcoins that are popping up. My philosophy with cryptocurrency is, I understand kind of the high level basics, the, probably top 5 coins. But if you're talking about coins that have a market cap of 130 million and were printed 2 days ago, no, I'm not paying attention to any of that. It's just way too much to cover. And Sebastian, I think that probably answers your question. Are you going to ride the alt season? No, because I don't know anything about the alts. And if I touch any of these altcoins, it's just pure gambling because I know nothing. I mean, I know some of these. So BAT I know, Zcash I know, Maker I know. So I know a handful. But a lot of these coins, there's just so many coins. I mean, for me, I kind of do the same thing with stocks. I tend to own kind of the mega caps, large caps, and then I dabble a little bit in the small caps, mid caps. How high do you think the 10-year Treasury note could go? I was thinking honestly that it could go to around 2%, but we'll see if that happens. I don't know. I don't have a pulse on the yields on like a short-term basis. Hey, love your TikToks, hilarious. Thanks, Anthony. Now it's NFT season, hell yeah. NFTs, don't get me started. I mean, NFTs are definitely just waiting to, pop in terms of like bubble valuations. I mean, I think I saw the same thing in 2017. Not necessarily, I think it was basically NFTs, and I think I talked about this a little bit on the last live, so I probably won't talk about it too much. But like cryptocurrencies, or not cryptocurrencies, it was like crypto kitties, and you could own them, people were trading them. It was like you were the only one that could own it. So I saw a little bit of that. But yeah, NFTs, I'm not involved at all. Have you seen SOS in after hours? I don't even know what SOS is. What is SOS? Market cap 800 million. Yeah. Oh, up 31%. What is this, biotech? No, tech. I just don't know what SOS is. Software as a service. Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about is the commodities and just some updates on some of the stuff I follow. I mean, U.S. Steel, the hot rolled prices are still ridiculous. And it's really just across the board when it comes to commodities. I really need to look into how to play some of these other commodities because I was looking at, corn. I mean, like across the whole board, everything has, gone up like 50% since the beginning of the year. I mean, look at steel. Last year, March, 500, 1345. I was saying corn, 554. And last year, it was 340. I mean, everything just across the board is up. It's nuts. Except I don't think gold. What is gold's historical? Just curious. Because I feel like it hasn't budged that much probably from last year. Oh, it's budged a little bit, but like it's barely gone up with all this inflation talk and fear around it. I mean, April of 2020, right? Gold was 1707. April this year, 1743. It's barely moved. And also, why has U.S. Steel been making a comeback? I mean, it's purely pricing. If you saw my screen, pricing of hot rolled steel is $13.50. Realistically at those prices, these steel companies are going to be making a decent amount of money, especially if they're vertically integrated. So if they own the mines and have the iron ore, I mean, their margins are going to be, or they're not going to have to worry about paying ridiculous prices for the ore. How do you buy commodities? I mean, either you look for a company that's in the kind of exploration and production of those commodities. That's a way to play it. I mean, I'm not personally like buying futures. I mean, you can also buy futures on these commodities, but that's dealing with a lot of money. There's a lot of leverage, and I wouldn't even look at that. What's your thought on the housing bubble forming? It's interesting. So I'm not in real estate. Like I don't own any physical real estate, But it is interesting to see kind of what's going on with like friends and family, or people that I know are more in real estate. I mean, there's videos on YouTube and stuff that I see, but I think that the housing market, I mean, when a house goes on the market and it instantly has like 40 bidders and people are passing over inspections and offering way above asking, I mean, that's not probably great for, in terms of sustainability. But the question always comes, like, if you're going to sell your place because it's a hot market, well, where are you necessarily going to move? Because wherever you're moving to, the price of the house is still going to be higher. So I don't know. I don't know real estate as well. If it was like '08, I guess you could try to play it in another way. I thought futures were banned in the US because of the '08 crisis. No, you can trade futures. Futures are not banned. But yeah, my opinion on the housing market, I mean, it's just tough to time it precisely. And then you always got to live somewhere. Okay, let's see if anyone has... Okay, let's do another trivia question, by the way. So what is it called when you leave buffer room in an investment valuation where buying a stock for less than it is worth? What is that called? And a hint for that is literally, I made a video about this like today. Sebastian, do you think we'll see more blood on tech stocks? I think the blood will be dependent on the stock itself. So I don't think all tech stocks are overvalued. What did Caesar, what do you make of Kathy's response to Musk tweet? I didn't see it. What'd she say? Do you have an opinion on DBX? It's my second largest position. Is that is DBX oil? What is DBX? No, Dropbox. I thought it was an oil ETF. Second biggest position. It's fun. I don't have an opinion on Dropbox, but I remember doing a live with investing with Mike, and he was really into Dropbox. For me, I never dug into it further. Because for me, I don't know, Dropbox, unless it's like a true value play, it just seems there's a lot of competition in storage. I mean, Google, Microsoft, like, I just don't see how they just completely wipe out Dropbox as they would bundle the services. Yeah, and yes, Michael, you got it. Michael, you got the second one. So Michael, hit me up in the Discord after. So yeah, Dropbox, let's see. Let me quickly look at it. Price of sales, I don't know how fast they're growing in terms of revenue. Just looking at some quick metrics. I mean, their debt to equity doesn't look that bad. Or no, debt to equity does look bad. Leverage, free cash flow. I mean, forward PE 21, PEG ratio under 2. Their quarterly growth rate's about double their price to sales ratio. I mean, it looks okay. Okay. POG? The heck is value investing then? Oh, that was your answer to the question? Oh, yeah, I guess I could see the confusion, but I was referring to margin of safety. Yeah, the video that I talked about today with Warren Buffett and how he scoops things up for 50% off. But I was also saying in the comments that, it's obviously harder than said. It's like, well, yeah, buy a company for $1, or buy a company for 50 cents that's worth $1. It's easy, but in this market, you got to go hunting for some gems. Let's see, what else you guys got? What are the questions? How can you sell options if you don't already own them? Well, you can create the contract. So you can basically open, let's say you're selling a put. It's basically a contract saying that you'll buy the shares at a certain strike price, and for every contract 100 shares. And so if someone's willing to trade and buy that contract, well, there you go. What are your thoughts on NFT plays? I talked about NFTs, but I'm not really involved with NFTs at all, just because I think it will eventually blow up. So maybe short term you can trade it. Long term, I don't know enough about the cryptocurrency market, or the NFT market within the cryptocurrency market. Now, what is interesting is I saw an article about the Topps company, the ones that create cards. They're trying to invest in NFTs. I'm pretty sure I think they're already involved with NFTs, because people have talked about like Top Shot NFTs. Yo, should I plow my money into VTI instead of sitting on cash? Rice, well, that's ultimately up to you on what you want to do. It really, for me, it's like I'm only sitting on cash if I need it for the next year. If I'm going to need it for the next year, I'm not going to really invest it too much. I'll probably go into a savings account, something like Ally, or trying to get something where the cash is just sitting there. That way, I mean, it's just not completely losing to inflation. But yeah, if I have an emergency fund, I have all the other items that would pay off in a year. I mean, for me, I would invest in index funds. Or the bears seem super logical with their reasonings, and it's messing me up. Oh, you're completely on the sidelines? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's, there's always going to be a bear argument. There's always going to be a bullish argument. Actually, I don't want to speak in general terms on that. You just have to look at both sides of the arguments and I guess just go with what you believe. But just for me personally, I know long term, I'm not going to say like stocks only go up. But if you're talking about index funds, that's something where for index funds, I think dollar cost averaging over time, pretty much any investor will do okay. Now, if you're talking about an individual stock, now that's completely different. Then you don't have the diversification, and then you can't just blindly, DCA forever. Have you got your Rona vaccine? So I got the first dose. My second dose for the Rona vaccine is Friday. So wish me luck. I hear the second shot wipes people out in terms of you're just tired, maybe run a fever, something like that. So I'm hoping it's not too bad. But I got the first one, and the only side effect was, my arm hurt a little bit, but it pretty much just went away. Thanks, Rob. Okay, let's do one more trivia question. And here we go. I'm going to post it. What 2 companies is Jack Dorsey CEO of? The guy's an animal. He runs 2 companies. I'm not sure if he runs them both half-assed or Moderna or Pfizer. No. You're thinking of someone else. Yeah, Rice Power, you got it. And for Yeah, Rice Flour, you got it. Yeah, some people also said Twitter and Cash App, which Square owns Cash App. And I made a whole video about Square. Okay, Rice, you won that one. And we'll keep on answering questions and just hanging out. GDP statistics evolved during the industrial age and do not seem to keep up with digital age thanks to productivity. GDP growth really is higher and inflation lower than reported. Probably is higher. It's interesting. The timing for that Moderna Pfizer question. I didn't ask a Moderna Pfizer question. Oh, was Michael asking a separate question? I don't know. So what else are you guys looking at? Oh, one thing I also wanted to mention was this whole Biden stimulus plan, or the infrastructure plan. I actually found this really good article. I may link it actually in the YouTube video after I close it out, and you can watch it later. But this video basically breaks down the $2 trillion that is being planned on infrastructure and jobs. And so it was kind of interesting to see where the bulk of the money is. I mean, there is a ton of money going to electric vehicles and EV stations. God, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just need to admit that I'm wrong on the... I need to look into who else's EV stations other than Blink, though. That one drives me nuts. I don't know. I need some exposure, I think, in my portfolio to kind of... I don't want to say electric vehicles specifically, but maybe some clean energy. I'm having a hard time after 2020. A lot of these stocks are still inflated, but maybe I give up and just buy Tesla. You gotta be sick of answering the same questions over. Yeah, it's part of it. Not everyone sees the answers to my previous questions. I just put my savings in GameStop. Good luck. U.S. Concrete ripped on infrastructure news. That's the thing. So my question is, with this infrastructure news, right? Like, everyone knows it's possibly coming. And whether or not it's already priced into some of these infrastructure plays is the ultimate question. I mean, you kind of just have to look at like the current value of these infrastructure plays, whatever it is, if it's Caterpillar, UNP, Tesla, all the stuff that has markets that would potentially get money. Like, there's upgrade airports. There's something about semiconductors. The big one is 2 million homes and commercial properties getting retrofitted. I mean, there's just a ton of money being spent across the board, across multiple industries. So it's one of those things where, will this actually get passed? Because the whole plan to pay for it is raising the corporate tax rate to 28%, which I think we had that corporate tax rate at some point earlier. I don't know the exact tax rates corporate tax rates over the history, of course. I'm not that good, guys. But yeah, I know it was lowered when Trump came into office, and that was a huge surge in the market because it was just like corporate taxes are cut. So that just meant more money to be kept by the corporations. And then I saw something that, Jeff Bezos was on board with higher corporate taxes. It was like, oh, okay. That guy's he's probably already figured out, though, how to avoid the taxes as a whole. Thoughts on China stocks with what is going on? What is going on with China? Are you talking about the rules around if they don't get audited, they could get taken off or delisted? Because I talked about that in one of my shorter videos. And that's part of the reason I don't usually invest in Chinese stocks. I did First Solar to get exposure to alternative energy, but not sure if an ETF is better long term. Yeah, that's my problem with clean energy too. I mean, I just don't know what individual company to invest in. There's definitely sectors or industries I know better, or I understand a little bit better, but like when it comes to a clean energy company in the entire space, which one to pick? First Solar is a name that I know, and it's bigger. And yeah, the Poet Society, if you do jump into clean energy exposure, what about ICLN? So I've heard ICLN before. You just have to pay attention to what the major holdings in ICLN is, which I believe it's heavily weighted, and yeah, there's like Plug, 10% Plug. Plug was the name. It was Plug, Blink. Yeah, see, like all these names, I would have no idea. There's so many companies that I would just have no idea existed. Phase Energy. The only one in this list I've heard of is Plug. So I probably wouldn't invest in this ETF, even though it says iShares Global Clean Energy ETF. That's great. But I do not know. If I don't know 80% of the top 10 stocks, I mean, that's probably not good. Companies with big depreciation expense won't feel higher corporate taxes. Well, yeah, any company that's not making money won't. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate that. Sleepy Biden, more like Stimmy Biden. Yeah, Biden is coming out with the stimulus. And, the Fed, Biden, all the money we need. Which is, I mean, hey, I'm not complaining. Definitely props up the markets. It helps, people get back on their feet. So gets away scot-free with the money printing. I know inflation is a concern right now, but if he manages to get to the 2% target, nothing really changes. I mean, I guess in a way, yeah, you still have 2% inflation, but that's pretty manageable. Yeah, I think so, Rodrigo. If I don't know the top 10 stocks in the ETF, probably shouldn't touch it. Memes to remember, look at SOS. Someone just mentioned SOS. Yeah, saw it blew up in the after hours. Well, David, if you have 100K gains, I think you probably know yourself where you should allocate that. Infrastructure really does need to be revamped. U.S. is way behind in comparison to the rest of the world. Well, I don't know about the rest of the world, but I do know that, infrastructure in the city I'm in, Chicago, I mean, all that stuff that's kind of neglected over the years. I mean, yeah, I think it would be good to revamp the whole transit system. And I think it is good to, put money or government funding in something that maybe leads us so the world doesn't get destroyed. Maybe sacrifice a little bit of capitalism and all about whatever's cheapest to kind of steer us in the right direction. I think I'm okay with that. I don't want the world to blow up or the climate to completely destroy the world. We are way behind in many things. Yeah, I'm sure we are. I mean, it's when you get to a scale and the size of the U.S. as a whole, the bigger you get, I think the harder to manage. Also, there's a little bit of complacency at some point. I think over many, many years, a country that's on top can get complacent. It's a good discussion to have, I think. If you're referring to the whole, making decisions outside of pure capitalism, I think you're probably right. Social investing, kind of what's good for people. Does the U.S. government have the power to ban Bitcoin? Sure. I mean, they could ban the use of it. I just think it would be very silly for the government to ban Bitcoin. And Ray Dalio, I saw he had like a little interview on CNBC. He basically said the same thing. They could outlaw the use of Bitcoin, but that would be very short-sighted, I think. I mean, if you're so afraid of Bitcoin that you ban it and the rest of the world is using it and everyone else is kind of on board, I think you're just shooting yourself in the foot. Like, it would be way easier to build the infrastructure around Bitcoin, around cryptocurrency. I understand the governments are afraid to like lose control of the currency because, I mean, as a government, they have a lot of power by owning the currency. If you lose that, it's a tough pill to swallow. But I think instead of just like completely ignoring it and hoping it goes away or banning it, which first of all, banning it wouldn't work. People would still use it. Making it illegal maybe to use it, it'd just be really hard to regulate. So I don't know how they would do it. India banned Bitcoin. Yeah, but I don't know how that worked. They banned Bitcoin, and then I think they, I guess just got rid of that law because it was too hard to manage. Government wouldn't miss out on capital gains tax they reap. Oh, they would, yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, okay, why would they ban Bitcoin when they can try to tax it and it's an additional stream of revenue? It doesn't make sense to me why they would do that. Our debt to GDP will catch up to us at some point. It's unsustainable. Yeah, debt is always the issue, but if you can print money to pay down the debt becomes less of an issue if you can just print money to pay it off. But I agree. I mean, I don't like to see a ton of debt. All right, let's do one more trivia question on the YouTube channel. What does IRA stand for? This should be a gimme. Bitcoin is cool and all, but the fact you can perma-lose them sounds scary long term. Yeah, I mean, the one scary thing about cryptocurrency is you do get a little nervous if you're sending a huge amount of value over cryptocurrency. When you're like looking at that wallet address, you're just like, oh my God, I better be sending this to the right thing. And there's always that irrational fear. I have it too, where it's like if I'm sending a large amount, I'm just like, if I copy pasted and somehow there's a software tracking and like replace the number, I like look at the send address like 20 times. So even someone like me, I get a little nervous. Yeah, Fernando, you got it. Nicely done. That's 2 for you, Fernando. Killing it. Killing the game. No color. How do I... I'll worry about that later. Nicely done. What's the equivalent of TA in crypto? I mean, the equivalent of technical analysis in crypto is the same as stocks. I don't think TA in crypto is any different. I mean, honestly, I think trading is probably more profitable. I don't know. I can't say that. Not more profitable. Once again, I can't speak in general terms. But with crypto, it's less regulated and there's less players. And what that really means is it's less efficient. And if a market is less efficient with its pricing, there's opportunity to arbitrage, there's opportunity to trade in and out. I mean, for me, I wish I was smart enough, and I know there are people smart enough, but if you could create a bot that scans all exchanges and trades in and out of different cryptocurrencies across different exchanges at different values, there's got to be someone that's just reaping it in doing that. I know that has to exist. There's definitely someone that's programmed a couple bots to scan all exchanges and do that. Buy and sell, have an inventory. I'm just not smart enough to do it. Is the stock market going to have a big correction soon? Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say a big correction. For me, I mean, I'm a simple man. You know, I'm not like a huge looking at technicals or anything. But if I look at SPY, if it pulls it up, I mean, this is your daily chart for SPY. We kind of flirted with the RSI over 70. It's, clearly over the 50-day moving average. Of course, once again, you can't just look at the past, but that's kind of what technical analysis is trying to figure out kind of where a topping pattern is. The MACD looks like if it has a couple days of consolidation, it may come back to like this 390 area. The SPY is something that I would rather call a short-term top in. The NASDAQ, it still hasn't returned to all-time highs. We'll see if it gets there. If it was able to push to all-time highs, I mean, that'd be pretty bullish in terms of like the next half year, I think. Like I said, I mean, this is paired with the bond yields coming down a little bit. Same thoughts. There aren't indicators like RSI or MACD that you can track to crypto, are there? I don't know. I don't trade cryptocurrency, so I'm probably not the best person to ask. Not true. It's way more efficient. It's decentralized finance. You mean the exchanges, Dr. Cox? God damn it, that name. Did you see RMO? Thoughts about tech stocks? I answered that one already, I think. Okay. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do the last question for trivia. And then I'll answer a couple more questions, and then I'll probably end the live in 8 minutes or so. But it's been fun. Okay, so the last question is, what is the amount that Biden would raise the tax rate to pay for the stimulus plan? I worked this in specifically because we just covered it. So we'll remember if anyone remembers the actual percentage. What is the amount that Biden would raise the tax rate to pay for the stimulus plan? That's the question. Okay, Bryce, you got it. Oh, Brian, you were so close. Bryce got that one. He's faster. He's got a fast internet connection, it seems like. Oh, Fernando. That was over and above. But yeah, Bryce got that one. Oh, thanks, Nixon. 4%. Did you see D's? Is that a oh, that must be, is that a cryptocurrency? I don't see it as that actual stock. No, I haven't heard of these. Yeah, no, you still got it, Rice. Oh, you got me, David. You got me. See, luckily I didn't You guys are funny. Michael, no. All right. Let's see. Was there anything else I want to talk about? Coinbase, Biden infrastructure, commodities, clean energy, GME, the markets. I think I went over everything I wanted to cover. So I'll probably end it here. But just want to say appreciate everyone joining the live. It was a fun hangout. Did a little trivia. So appreciate it, guys, and I'll see you in possibly 2 weeks if you decide to join. Peace out, guys.